Hey everybody, I'm at Manassas National Battlefield Park, where the first battle of the Civil War, also known as the Battle of Bull Run, was fought. After Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter in April of 1861, President Abraham Lincoln called for 75,000 volunteer troops to squash the Southern Rebellion. In the meantime, Arkansas, Tennessee, North Carolina, and most importantly Virginia seceded from the Union. Richmond, Virginia, located just 100 miles to the south of Washington, D.C., became the new Confederate capital. In an effort to bring the rebellion to a quick end, newly appointed Union Brigadier General Irvin McDowell led an army into Virginia in mid-July 1861. Despite having little experience in the field, McDowell and his soldiers were under tremendous pressure from the north to engage the rebels. The Union's first target was the railroad junction in Manassas, Virginia, located just 30 miles southwest of Washington, D.C. Opposing the Union advance was a large Confederate army under the command of Pierre Gustave Toutant Beauregard. Alerted to the Union movement by spies, the Confederates took up a position behind Bull Run Creek and were determined to hold their ground. McDowell decided to feign a head-on assault while sending the bulk of his Union army around the Confederate left. However, by the time these flanking Union soldiers arrived on the battlefield, they were exhausted, giving the Confederates time to reinforce their position on Matthews Hill. Finally managing to drive the Confederates from Matthews Hill by noon, the Union forces tried to press their advantage, but quickly ran into a large organized line of Virginia Confederates led by General Thomas Jackson. As the Confederates from Matthews Hill retreated from the Union forces, Confederate General Bernard Bee supposedly called out to his men to stop and take a stand with Jackson's men. "There stands Jackson," he said, "like a stone wall." From this point forward, General Thomas Jackson would forever be known as Stonewall Jackson. The Union concentrated their forces in candidate Henry Family Farmhouse on Henry Hill and tried to blast Jackson's Confederates from the battlefield. But the Virginians held the line on Henry Hill throughout the afternoon, and continued Confederate reinforcements forced the Union to give up the fight by 4 p.m. The Union retreat soon turned into a full-on panic as thousands of inexperienced Union soldiers abandoned their equipment and arms in their flight to safety. If the Civil War was born at Fort Sumter, it came to age at the Battle of Bull Run. The casualties for both sides totaled around 5,000, with almost 900 men killed, making the battle the bloodiest in American history up to that point. The battle also featured the first civilian killed in the war, 85-year-old Judith Henry, whose home on Henry Hill had been the focal point of the battle. The rout at Bull Run shocked the North and was praised in the South. General Irvin McDowell was relieved of his command, and the Union started the long process of rebuilding and properly training its army. Incredibly, almost a year later, a second, much larger battle was fought on the same ground, resulting in another Confederate victory and some 20,000 casualties. Today, the battlefield is partially preserved as Manassas National Battlefield Park. The Henry family home has been rebuilt next to the Patriots Monument, erected in 1865 to honor the Union soldiers lost at the battle. A small visitor center and museum also help explain the battle, and the fact that many of the soldiers who fought in the Battle of Bull Run were confusingly wearing almost identical uniforms. So come see where the Civil War had its bloody beginning at Manassas National Battlefield Park. It's one of the best places in Virginia.